it wasn't complete, it didn't have all of the requirements. I sent it back. They have sent me a new one earlier this week. I have now submitted it to insurance to make sure they're signed off on it. From service level, I think it covers everything, but again, want them to opine on it. They have all of our red lines on the agreement. They've had them now for a month. I followed up. We should be at a point that we're about to, I'm hoping in July on the agenda, there will be a signed agreement for ratification. And then they will move forward. I have also inquired with their team what their timing is for the installation of a cell tower. Any type of site plan. I don't know if they've shared anything with you on that. They have not with me.
Yeah, once the site plan is done, it's 18 months from breaking ground to production.
So we're getting they did provide third-party insurance. They're not self-insuring as we requested, and we're just making sure that the COI reflects all of our requirements. And they've been fairly easy to work with. So once we get everything signed, we should be good to go. Coming in,
How much money did we? 2,000. What do we?
it's about 2,000 a month, I think is the final.
We will take.
It'll, so we will,
It'll get built right about the time starting.
ASTS going to space, maybe.
otherwise, we had a request last month to get a summary of all of our outstanding bonds, terms, any type of refinancing restrictions or other restrictions. I'm working with Rosetta. Rosetta's in the middle of budget season, so they don't have all that information finalized yet, but we should in July. The other update that I have is I know last month there was some discussion on a potential Solterra master plan and changing some of the amenities or adding new amenities. Had a very brief call with insurance on any type of restrictions we would have on having like an adult only area, an adult only pool, etc. We're going through this in North Florida right now, with another district. It is insurance's recommendation and my legal recommendation too, that we shy away from having any age restricted area, similar to how we can't have certain age restrictions unless it's supported by a manufacturer's warranty. When we redid the amenity policies, you'll remember we raised things, a non-swimming person instead of a child. Or in the gym, we tie our age restrictions to manufacturer's warranties, same with playgrounds. We strongly recommend that we don't have an age restricted area. There is a legal risk to that under equal access and the Fair Housing Act actually is where it comes from. So suddenly just to keep in mind as we think about potential master plan of new amenities, let's keep in mind potential risks of having
Age restricted. Okay.
areas. Yeah,
All right, that's fair.
I had a similar impact with the ADU.
yes.
Yeah. The numbers.
Insurance got real anxious. So.
Not too bad.
Can we,
So let's move
Are we
on with
able-
that.
are we
Yeah,
able to designate quiet zones?
We can. So that's actually one of the ideas that we're doing in North Florida is they've added a different pool. Originally, they wanted it to be adults only 21 and up. We didn't do that because of the concerns. So what we did is we made it a quiet zone. So no yelling, no splashing, no playing, basically a fun-free zone. And it so far has worked. It has discouraged children from being in that area. Not necessarily all kids like high schoolers and stuff. We still see some of them going in, but we just put really strict rules and enforce those rules really strictly in that area.
Yeah, that is something that Joe team has to implement.
Quiet zone.
Yeah, we can have a big.
All right, so maybe, Debbie, I know you've been working towards this, so maybe start, rebranding to quiet zone instead of like age restricted zone.
We got time.
Give it some
It's
thought.
down the road.
Yeah, give it some thought.
Speech free.
That's good.
No, that's it for me unless anybody has any questions.
Legal, any questions for legal? This is the time. Good, okay.
One.
Yeah, whoa. I have a question. So I'm just curious, what is our overall budget with legal?
Your what?
What is our overall budget with legal?
Let me pull up.
In this year's financials? let me see.
Can I ask you a question while Brian's looking at that?
60,000 this year.
How do, how are things such as adult swim periods enforced? If,
What do you mean, adult swim?
you know, like in pools where they have adult swim and all of the children get out, how is that enforced if you can't define an
So it
adult
depends on
pool
it.
or an adult
Depends
space?
on if it's a public or private entity. So if it's a private HOA or pool or a country club pool or yacht club pool, something of that nature, they don't have the same restrictions as a public entity there is. When you have periods of adult swim, there is an argument you can make of having serving a public purpose. So for example, my old high school has open swim on the weekends during the summer. And they would have every hour, there would be a 10-minute period of adult swim only to get kids out of the pool to go back, basically. And so that time period, it serves a type of public purpose, but it doesn't ban, it's not a full-time ban on the entire period, if that makes sense. So something you could research is if we had a quiet area and then it was for everyone all day, we could discuss this with insurance, but having something for a few hours at night, that it was just for adults or every other hour,
Nice.
something of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's ways you could potentially work around it, but we would want to dive into insurance. Your legal budget, it looks like for the year is $60,000. So about $5,000 a month.
And how much of that, I'm just curious. Brian, you serve a number of different communities. How ordinary or extraordinary is that number,
Our
given the
legal
size of our
budget
community?
So, all right, let me think about this. So my highest legal budget, my second highest would be coming in at roughly 34,000.
For an account this size is 300,000?
For an account comparable to this property, I would say it'd be 34,000 in comparison to 60 that we currently have. That would be my second highest budget.
So 34,000 is what other communities our size are spending compared to our 60.
Well, Karen,
Um,
I need to interrupt, but a similar community that Meredith has in, Lake County, just north of Ocala, I believe it is about you all size with a similar structure of pools and rentals, and it's also a 55 and up, and they have a golf course. It's about there. And then for communities that don't have amenities, it's about half that.
Right, but I'm not asking you to compare us to other communities and what you're charging. I'm asking an independent vendor how much other communities that are similar to ours are being charged by other district councils. So, and there seems to be a significant difference. Now, I also understand that some of the other communities don't, I'm trying to figure out how much do we spend on having you guys drive out, stay overnight and whatever else? How much of that expense is to that? And from what I understand, a lot of other districts, their councils attend virtually. So I'm wondering, at a great lesser expense. So I'm wondering how that comes into play.
Okay.
To signal on this conversation, and I know that this is already done, I'll motion to RFP legal services to give the budget in line and see where we're at.
I second the motion.
So RFQ.
I
is
can't
being-
understand. I couldn't understand what you were saying, Bobby. I'm sorry.
All right,
I couldn't make it out.
Karen, Bobby just made a motion for RFP for legal services.
Requesting.
Yeah, I think that we've never done, I think it's the only, I think legal is the only aspect of our CDD, which we have not put out for RFP, and we have not done any sort of bidding process. And I think it's the responsible thing to do, just so that we're comparing apples to apples and we know really what we're paying for. Because I think the differential is rather significant. So, if you guys are first and seconding, let's vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries, requesting an RFQ for legal services. Our offices will send out some requests. Okay. Anything else for your legal team? Any questions? Legal? Good.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? You good?
Can I see?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank you. Good to see you.
Okay, I gotta go into the hall.
No, that's okay. Hey, safe travels.
Thanks, good stuff.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Trash.
We have,
No, I'll get rid of the trash.
the only thing that I have on district managers, so updates from the town hall. Have we reached a majority agreement in terms of the enhancement? Remember, we talked about getting a master site plan for the, the orchard, the wave runner, the basketball courts. Have we reached a majority agreement of like, hey, this is where we want these things, this is what we want?
We have one more thing that I think has really been, talked about too much, and that would be the convenience store and where we want that to be. But I can share that with you after the meeting.
So back to you guys. So the understanding is that in the town halls, we're gonna have our board members discuss these ideas and then come into an agreement. What do we want the 10-year master site plan to look like? So is that still being worked on?
I don't, at this point, we've got closer ideas. I don't feel like they have been locked down. I can work on that to try to get that better. I mean, I think one of the big things was the front gate and realizing, I think that has a big in a wrench of, hey, this is $100+ and it's gonna slow the gate down for 6 months. And I think decisions and people's thoughts, once they hear that, would most likely change. And I think that would then realign priorities to maybe other areas and figuring out what can go where and what is the process that we move forward. But it's good. We didn't know until today.
And I agree that I think that when people understand that it's probably gonna be 6 months of things getting torn up, it's not gonna change anything on Pine Tree Trail. There's gonna be additional costs to support that they might be happy at, looking at some of the other things to help make the resort a little more self-sustaining and think about passively finding ways to reduce some of the traffic.
For the convenience store, do you want me to go ahead and reach out to your bond council to see if there's any restrictions that there would be on an entity like that? Or do you want to wait till it's farther down the line?
There's a couple ideas to toss around. One was possibly putting something here. One was
I don't think we
building.
need to do that
Okay.
from right yet, because, I mean, that's another revenue driver thing that's probably not gonna happen for, 3 years and a half, 2 years or more down the road even. But
Well, let's do this. So it sounds like we're still doing some brainstorming.
Yeah.
There is no urgency from your staff. We are plenty busy with the projects that we currently have. And as you know, we are kind of spent for the year. So, take the time that the board needs to feel confident. And when we do find an agreement, remember, we're going to create a site plan. So this is what we'll work on.
And we would need a budget to create the site plan as well.
I don't think we need the budget to, well, maybe.
Well, first start with the concept. Once you agree on the concepts and ideally where you want to place them, then we can start targeting which one are we gonna price out first, okay? So I'm gonna kick you back to the town hall.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just a minor overview, this has come up, Supervisor Wissart and I had this conversation. It's been brought to my attention that previous management had, Bobby as their point of contact for security. So we switched that with Zulika. So staff is now the point of contact. And that just goes further into the conversation, you know, legal back me up on this. In terms of system and operations, just remember, staff is supposed to manage these things. You're supposed to have a view capability, but no board member should really be working on our systems or having direct contact with the vendors in terms of, you know, progressing forward in decision making. That is, reserved for staff and then the board, so that the board could review. So just a friendly reminder there, keep that in mind. We've already made those adjustments. That is all I have for my updates. Anything for me, board? Hearing none? All right, let's get into your consideration of your meeting minutes from May 1st, 2026.
Do you want me to, are you got the changes there?
We sent the revised agenda, so these are, staff reviewed, legal had some additional changes that has been made to the revised agenda, and this is the revised meeting minutes. Be open to any questions, or if not, a motion to, approve your meeting minutes from May 1st.
I'll motion to make minutes as presented.
All right, motion from Bobby. Second from Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Karen. All right, we've already discussed the investment opportunities, so, we will continue to work on that. Guys. Getting there. All right, consideration tab 13, golf cart, Brian Merge, I'll kick it off to you.
We've been talking about golf cart, and we also talked about lowering expenses. They had several different ones between 13 up to 21 seater. That we were discussing it with the factory directly in China to be able to purchase it from there. It's,
We might have an issue with purchasing it from China. This year.
We always have an issue.
I would take that, yeah, so we were in looking at what would be the final cost, looking at the pricing, we just chatted with a factory. But this was an option that in all those discussions came out as looking as a good one, regardless of where we find it or how we get to it. And so that was, we looked at ordering one or two. The price was, I don't have it in front of you.
Is that like the 14 person?
Did you have a price?
This was like 6,500, 600.
Three on that.
Just around 13.
Is that 13?
It's on 13?
Yeah,
13 now.
now,
Yeah, from before when you did, it was about 13.9.
That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
for it. I thought, if I'm not mistaken, I thought one of the options we discussed to get around it was an Artemis one,
That's right.
and then was reimbursed, was that? Or is that something?
Like, we would reimburse Artemis.
Yeah, no reimburse,
We would,
is what it discussed.
we would order a golf cart from Artemis.
But technically Artemis would order the golf cart and then you guys.
So if Artemis wanted to buy the golf cart, we could amend your contract to include this trolley service, shuttle service.
shuttle.
Then the liability would be on you, which would make me happy. And insurance happy. You might want to talk to your insurance carrier.
I wish with the whole shuttle thing, I agree we need something, but what are we gonna do with it when it's not busy for 6 months a year and staff?
But I will say, my districts that have golf carts, we have to put them in like a locked barn situation because if the kids, they hot wire them so easy, they go on joy rides, which is concerning. So I think we could come up with a couple ways to do it. We could either figure out how to purchase it directly, from a local provider. Solterra would insure it. Users, we would probably need to fill out some type of waiver before getting on it. So like if you used an app, like a parking box or something, you call a shuttle, as you called it, you'd have to do a waiver on your own. I don't know if that's possible. I'm just spitballing ideas. Other option would be is that artists could do it under their Minity contract is a service. They would be
Yeah, I
responsible.
think we want to get a Solterra service, meaning, I'm not filling out waivers when I've been on the Disney tram, so
Yeah.
somehow they figured it out now. We would want to be able to pick people up
Yeah,
up and down.
let
Get to
me,
their house sooner.
let me talk with Andy at Aegis and see what he has to say.
And I think that that's one angle, the storage of it, making sure it doesn't get borrowed for an evening is another angle that we haven't.
Would you do a gas and electric? Are they either?
I think the goal would be electric and possibly to get two, so we
Okay.
can charge while the other one's operating. I think both of them have.
And so would it be like a call service, like you call?
Or would we have stops throughout the resort where people just go
Right.
and know what comes every 10 minutes?
Joe, we could do either or. I would imagine it would just have hours of, 10 to 3 or 10 to 5 is it's running up and down. There's a lot of people that have to walk a long ways to get home.
And so then the drivers of the golf cart would be Artemis employees? I'm just getting all my questions answered because I know Andy's gonna ask. So would they be Artemis employees? Okay, okay.
Staffing for that though, I would imagine that we're expecting need to staff and then it's where.
Yeah, there would be amendments probably to that, and I'd have to, staff and voter, I'd have to speak with,
We got under.
But yeah, I mean, it was something that had been discussed before, and then, Artemis had kind of thought of that solution, but, obviously, there's a staffing component now. The question, when it's a slower season, what do we convert that person into, from just being riders, could it be somebody that's,
Seasonal.
that's seasonal or whatever we need to that, so.
Let me coordinate with, have you talked to Andy before?
Insurance,
Yeah.
you briefly.
Okay, I'll put all of us in contact and get his thoughts on it and just get his gut reaction and, minimum things, if we're gonna buy it and own it. If his question is gonna be storage, there is gonna be some type of, like, maybe when you check in to get a parking pass, part of getting the parking pass or logging into the parking is a waiver for those in your household, because he's gonna want some type of waiver.
Well, that's all the more reason to bring in an app that's all encompassing, because then it can be part of that.
Yeah,
And we could potentially use the app to request service as well.
And Brian, you think this is gonna be a benefit to the community? It's probably.
I think there's a lot of people that, similar to not having a sidewalk walk up the street, that we kind of live with it. People are like, a lot of people that have to walk almost for miles to get to a pool, in the hot weather, in the rain, they have.
It's not cheap.
And
It's
what
not
happens,
parking,
there's
so-
like 32 spots back there, honestly. And when it's busy up here, people will drive up here with their family. And what will often happen is dad will drop off family and the kids, and then they'll go drive the car back to the house and end up walking home down or not even come at all.
Do we do like little bus stops, like little?
Yeah,
We can do anything we
We can do
want
bus
to.
stops.
There's only so much room in the car, and if you have them running up and down, even just the main boulevard, I imagine they'd be busy most of the day, picking people up, dropping them off, the people walking, so. We originally thought of it as we have golf carts that could go deliver food and bring people back. But I think the more we looked at it, we were like, we probably.
Yeah.
But we were like, well, we can get a bigger one, and then it was like, what we actually
But
need.
then we have
A shop.
cafe staff.
We could start with one.
That's right.
Yes, back in, it's just,
That's good festival.
Yeah.
Mile to get here.
Yeah.
And your, not blaming them, but communication wise, they don't know that towns aren't, they don't know, it's a nice side. So they get here and then somebody's walking back and like, and then that's just, it's not only, at that point, I care less about the review, it's about experience, because for that, they're
They're not coming back.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Whereas if you did have that, maybe say, oh, I'm just modeling.
Yeah.
It's less of a problem.
Okay, all right.
yeah,
That's a good idea.
yeah.
No, very good. So we'll review, maybe we'll look at some,
I think we have, our pricing, we'll figure out the option for storage, and then if we get updates on anything else we.
insurance, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then almost done, 2 more items. Business item C, consideration of seat 5 resignation on tab 14. So Supervisor Nealon has informed us that he will not be running for his current seat. So as legal has pointed out, his term is just gonna run out, and at which point whomever is trying to qualify for that seat is eligible. It'll go through the regular qualifying period. If nobody nominates themselves for that seat, then the board would elect whomever at that time.
Yeah.
You vote somebody.
Is that posted on the website? The day of the opening and the process for how anyone that wants to apply can, and then what are the qualifications?
So the entire process for general elections is handled through the supervisor of elections.
Yeah, that's right.
So we have very limited information as to what we could give apart from like.
We can
qual-
post it. Yeah.
Stuff like that. And then where would they go in the calls and say, hey, I want to run?
Yep. You can
But if that's on the website, we can tell.
You want us to-
I would just, you could send an e-blast or you could post the notice that.
Is that?
Okay.
I mean, there's resignation, it's not effective until November.
In the qualifying period, actually, I believe starts on the 8th.
I had to do all my election stuff, and he was like, there's only a couple of little days left before all your stuff has to be done.
June 12th is the.
So I mean, that's 7 days,
Yeah.
so everything's gotta be done, so if nothing gets done, you know, then we just vote on
And
something.
then we replace somebody.
Yeah,
So
so
he did nothing.
if anything happens,
Vote.
yeah, if nobody qualifies, he'll stay in the seat until that time in November, and then you treat it like any vacant seat.
That's right.
So people can apply. They do still have to meet the requirements of being a
That's right.
qualified elector.
Yep.
So 18 years of age or older, US citizen, registered to vote in Polk County, and actually lives within the district full time.
Great. So anyone listening, they could go and apply if they want, if they don't, then we'll have to work something.
Yes. Yes. All right, and then lastly, on tab 15, so this is pertaining to our conversations for like investment options. So this is when we reached out to the bond council.
And this also has to deal with when we were negotiating the food and beverage agreement as well, and to make it not a private use. So to make it the qualified management agreement under the IRS, these are the things they had to help us with.
So this, we would have to pay this, just have to bring it to the board's review for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve invoice 100399293 for $1,062.40 for bond council matters.
Second.
All right, second from Supervisor Mert, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, wonderful, approving tab 15. And we are up on shade session, do we need one?
No.
Okay, no shade today. No shade today. All right, supervisor comments or requests, anything? This is the time to talk. Karen? Anything for supervisor requests?
I'm probably, but not off the top of my head at the moment. So it'll have to wait.
All right, I'll take a motion from Bobby to adjourn. Karen, I'll call you soon, we'll catch up. Second from Supervisor Mertz, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, this meeting is adjourned at 2:21 PM. Take a look at the call.
I think it's one, I'm gonna charge more and I'm gonna make it.
Our meeting just ended. Chris, I initiated a, kind of a risky thing to do, but I initiated a conversation